Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the New Hampshire State Lottery, helping New Hampshire schools one ticket at a time.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. It is week 3 of our 5th ladder series. We're at the semifinals of this ladder series as we look for our 5th entry into the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year. We've got a couple of great bowlers this afternoon.
We do. These two guys know each other very well. Bart Maderios, the winner over Joe Stella last week, and it's been about a year since we've seen Chris Sargent, so it should be a great match.
All right, let's meet our contestants for this afternoon's match. First, last week's winner, our number 3 seed from Plastow, New Hampshire, Bart Maderios.
Bart coming in with an average of 122, his high single 197, best triple 474. Bowling in 2 leagues at Pilgrim Lanes, Haverhill, and at the Bowlerama in Portsmouth.
Bart rolled a 641 in the roll-off. He was a 358 to 290 winner last week over Joe Stella. His opponent, our number 2 seed from Methuen, Massachusetts. Let's welcome Chris Sargent.
And he comes in with an average of 130, high single 213, best triple 530, bowling out of St. Joe's in Haverhill.
And Chris rolled a 676 in the roll-off to earn the number 2 seed. It's Bart Maderios and Chris Sargent. We're coming right back to Leda Lanes for Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Here are the 5 bowlers that began this ladder series, and some of the best Candlepin bowlers in the world, as you see. First week, Joe Stella defeats Ed Tringali. Then it's Bart Maderios eliminating Joe Stella, setting up this afternoon's match between Bart Maderios and Chris Sargent, with Shawn Baker waiting in the wings. It'll be Bart Maderios first to bowl here at Leda Lanes to get this afternoon's match underway. There's Bart starting us off with a first ball right in the pocket. 48-year-old Bart Maderios from Plastow. And he starts off with a spare. His wife, Mary Lynn, in the pink sweater that you'll see behind him when we hand down to the spectators. Another good first ball, and look at this mess. Well, it's less of a mess than it was, but it's still the 410 with a lot of wood on the deck.
Well, what do you do with this? I guess you got to go to the right.
I'm not sure what you do with this. He's going to the right, trying to bounce the ball off the wood and get it on the rebound.
Pretty good idea there, actually.
And Bart will settle for a 9 box.
And he knew that was going to happen if he went over on that side, Dick.
We'll get to some of your cards, letters, and emails.
Hey, Chris.
As we watch Chris Sargent, a veteran of the television wars. Chris has been on our show over 30 times. And he starts off almost with a spare. He picks the 5 off the 8. He was on the old Channel 5 show 3 times. But a veteran of the Candlepin bowling campaigns. And Chris starts off with a 9. Got a note from Richard Ratcliffe from Gardner, Massachusetts. He's enjoyed watching the show. He used to bowl at the ex-bowling alleys in Springfield. I bowled there. When I was a kid, I had family in Springfield and bowled at the ex-Candlepin Lanes, which is no longer there. There's a big development there in that area. I miss some of the old stars that used to be there. Tony Marie, Tom Morgan, whom I was so sorry to see pass, of course, and Stacia Zernicke, of course. Nice to hear from Richard Ratcliffe from Gardner, Massachusetts. Thanks for watching, and hang in there.
This is only Bart Maderios' 3rd time on TV. He was on in the 90s, Channel 5 with Peter Flynn as a doubles partner, a match that they did win. And he was on last week, so this is his 2nd week on our Candlepin Stars and Strikes show, and he's got himself a 1-7 conversion here.
No, he threw it away. There you get a look at some of the big crowd on hand. And that'll be a 10 box. Nice 10 box for Bart. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues to score well in the ratings week after week. We've been getting mentioned in the Globe list of what people have been watching as far as sports on television, and we appreciate the fact that you're there week after week making Candlepin Stars and Strikes the success that it is. If you'd like to know more about advertising on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, we would invite you to give the station a call at 603-434-8850. You can become part of the family, such as McMulkin Chevrolet, Nashua Mitsubishi, Nashua Hyundai, McMulkin Cadillac, all of Nashua, longtime supporter of Candlepin Stars and Strikes, the New Hampshire Sweepstakes Commission, and the games of the New Hampshire Lottery, Tri-State Megabucks, Powerball, and look at the scratch tickets. What is that? That's the 5, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And a lot of wood to work with up front, in front of the fence.
And there they go. Will it all go? The 10 still stands. And that will be a 9 box for Chris Sargent.
Last week in the audience was Paul Berger, who's living back in the area once again. And in the audience today watching his son is the great Hall of Famer Mike Sargent. Let me give you a few of his stats, since we've actually never had the pleasure of doing a show that he's been on. High single 228. Oh, 228. High triple at 520. He has a world record 5-string total of 841. Imagine that. That's about a 160-something average. And a 1445 10-stringer. Inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. He's here today encouraging his son, who is also a terrific bowler, as he was for many, many years.
You'll see Mike in the windbreaker when we get a view of the bench behind the bowlers. Is Bart Maderios, the 1 and the 10.
Tell you what, if you ever want to hear some great stories about the good old days of bowling, you run into Mike Sargent somewhere. He's got a million of them.
Shot by Bart Maderios to convert the spare, his second mark. There's the 1 and the 10, and there they go. The ball took them both, and Bart working on the spare, breaks up the split, but leaves himself a split. The 9 and the 10 with
that wood's
a piece
usable.
of wood over there. He's going to have to play that wood if he's.
But he doesn't want to touch the wood.
Doesn't want to touch the wood of the deck. I know,
Yeah.
that's a tough shot. He's not going to. I don't know what he's going to do here. That's what he's going to do. Try to bounce the wood off the wall.
Yeah.
That was the only way he'd make the shot.
Now will he go just for the 1?
Take one pin at a time, I think. That's what he's going to do, and
Or
not get either one of them.
Still waiting for Chris Sargent to get started. He's had 4 9s, as a matter of fact.
Not a mark on
Don't
the board
worry
yet.
He'll be here. He'll arrive, I'm sure, with an explosion at some point soon.
Here he comes.
There's the
Here
explosion.
he comes. Right at it. Right at it now, Chris. Come on. Nice show, Chris.
And the first mark today for Chris Sargent. Took him 5 boxes, but he's got one. $850 if any of our bowlers today
Second.
throws a triple strike.
Got an email from Mary Lou Stankiewicz. Mike, she was watching a show in January where you mentioned the high single for Candlepin is 212. No, it's not. It's 245.
Well, for Mike Morgan. On the Pro Tour it is.
All right,
Pro
on the
Tour.
Pro Tour 212. You also said that it's a lot harder to obtain this score now than it was a few years back. I don't recall saying that, but how would it be harder?
No, it is not. I think most of the bowlers who bowled against wooden pins, which all of them were till several years ago, scoring was lower.
P.S. I'll be retiring in a few months. Look forward to attending the taping of our shows. That's great. We'd love to have you, as well as meeting us. Mike, I work in Worcester and live in Spencer. Are you any relations to the Morans from Spencer?
I am not.
Mike's not a relation.
I am not. I have no relatives in this area. I'm from Detroit, other than a former wife and a daughter. That's it. Everybody else is back in Michigan.
Here you go.
Did I ever tell you I'm from Detroit?
I think you did. Kind of sick of hearing it if you really want to know the truth.
Well, that was a tough break for Bart. Didn't have much choice in shot selection there. I'll take a 10. Chris Sargent now hopes to load up his 6th frame spare with a good fill and maybe get 3 marks in a row for bonus.
Looking for some bonus cash right on the head pin.
Gotta be tough.
Straight through. Put 4 in the spare. Piece of wood there makes this interesting. Chris is trying to direct it over you. You can see him motioning that wood. It rolls off the deck. He wanted it to go the other way and stay close to the pins, but it wasn't meant to be. So he'll play the left side and try for a bounce. Didn't get it. So he will be open in the 7th frame. And it's an 8 box. Chris is 34 years old, works for Elite Vending in Haverhill in root sales.
Take the back one. Take the back one.
And was looking for that wood to sit between those pins and help him out. I think it doesn't hurt him right there, that's for sure. Oh. Went in front, went in back, just didn't take the pin. Chris will take a 10 box. 87 and a 14-pin lead for Bart Maderios with a couple of bucks to go in the first string.
Which, by the way, is never enough against Mike Sargent. Chris Sargent, excuse me, and it never was either against his dad, Mike Sargent, who is here today, as we've pointed out. You know, we talked in recent weeks and months, actually, about bowlers that have the bowling ball in their bowling hand and then another ball in their opposite or non-bowling hand. And Mike Sargent pointed out to me that Tony Baldinelli, one of the greats ever, was one that bowled
did he? I
in
don't
that
remember
style. And then
9 bucks.
Then there was another story that went along with the late Tony Baldinelli, and that is Chris Sargent was 19 when he met Tony Baldinelli, who was considerably older. Ended up going into the lanes one night to bowl some jackpot games against some really big names. Now, at 19, you should be intimidated by these guys. He was not. He and his partner walked out with a fair amount of money, and shortly thereafter was offered a job to anchor Tony Baldinelli's bowling team at age 19 with some great Hall of Fame names. So if you do run across Mike Sargent, seriously, he has some great stories. He has a career second to none, really, and he remembers a lot of the stories.
Good first ball, good 7-pin fill for Bart Maderios in a 127 first string. For Bart. Now Chris Sargent.
Go get it now. Come on, you can do this.
Not on a spare, so no harm done, but boy, that's another difficult spare with only a 3 drop.
Do it!
Oh, my.
Sarge, you got to try for those. You got to try for those.
Bart giving some tongue-in-cheek encouragement there as Sarge picks up a 10. And now he'll face a Bart Maderios 10th frame spare.
Got an email here that makes reference to Tony Baldinelli that we'll read when we come back for the start of the second string here in just a minute.
Do it, do it!
That's Bart Maderios rooting on Chris Sargent. You can hear him yelling in the background. That'll be a 10 box and a 107 first string for Chris Sargent, a 20-pin lead for Bart Maderios, who rolled a 127 to Chris Sargent's 107 after 1 string. 1 down, 2 to go. We're coming back to Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Chris Sargent will be first to bowl as we begin our second string. There to the left on your screen right there is Mike Sargent. You can see him with the jacket open on the bench. We talked about him earlier. Chris trailing by 20 pins after 1. We were mentioning Tony Baldinelli and some of the greats, and Chris Sargent on Tony's team. Will that pin go? Will a 7-pin go? It won't. Got an email here. First, the writer recommends a website for us to check all the history of Candlepin bowling, icba.com. And he mentioned Tony Baldinelli bowled intensely and was an international endorser of the sport. And he teamed with Candlepin great Joe Carlina and his uncle, the writer's uncle, Bruce Shampoo. on the 4 consecutive world championship teams with himself, Bruce, Tony's brother Rico, and a couple of other first-class bowlers. Tony was one of the best of all time and was an ambassador for the sport in many countries. Tell your viewers to go to the ICBA site for a history and compendium of bowlers of the New England area. I watch the show Saturday and Sundays if I'm home. If not one day, definitely the other. More should be said of the founding fathers of this sport than what is, especially Tony. Thank you very much for the email. I'm looking for a signature on it, and I've got an email address without a name. But it's Bruce Shampoo's nephew.
Okay.
Whoever that may be.
A lot of people will remember Tony Marie Baldinelli, Tony's daughter, who was a very competitive professional for a number of years. We certainly miss her presence on television. That was a great try on a really challenging spare shot. Now he's got the 10-pin and the piece of wood that's going to just go right off the edge. There it goes. He'll miss it anyway. Congratulations to some of the Youth Traveling League kids. Last year, or the first year, I believe, they were something like 7 teams. Now they're up close to 20. The Central champions came from American Lanes. Congratulations to them. That's, again, from the Central Division. And in the, I believe it would be the Eastern Division, congratulations to the kids from Pilgrim Lanes, Northeast champions.
Come on, grab a bunch. Come on, grab it. I would have taken 2 off.
By the way, there was a 16-year-old, his name is Andy LeBlanc, had a 155 and a 410 triple. He's only 16 years old. Some phenomenal bowling in the junior traveling ranks. Bart Maderios, big supporter of that.
Got a note here from Patty Turner from Whitensville, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Worcester. She starts off by saying, "You two are a riot." We're a riot, Mike. She gets a kick out of hearing me ask you if you knew I was from Worcester. Did you know I was from Worcester?
Don't encourage him. He can be incorrigible at times.
I don't remember if I ever told you. Another 10 box for Chris Sargent, 3 10s to start off the string.
So she likes us, and we got a note here from Unsigned, who doesn't like us. We talk too much. So should we just not say anything? So they balance each other off.
Unsigned.
Unsigned. Yeah.
Sign it next time.
That's right. We don't
Chris
mind
Sargent with a mark. And a round of applause for himself.
That's right. Gets a little hand hit from his dad as well.
Played the wood and took the spare.
There you go.
Bart responds with a good first ball and a mess to shoot at. The 8-10 piece of wood. He'll need the wood and a prayer to make this shot. Well, he played the wood, but the prayer was not answered. And that will be a 10 box. We love hearing from you. If you'd like to write us a letter, our mailing address is 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038, Candlepin Stars and Strikes. You can address it there. You see our email address on the screen. We always love to hear from our Candlepin bowling fans.
And detractors.
Both of them. Tough 7 box for Bart. So we'll go to the break. And it's a 13-pin lead for Bart Maderios over Chris Sargent as we get ready to come back for Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua. All right, Chris Sargent ready to go on lane 34 at Leda Lanes as we come back to a tight match. 13 pins separate these two bowlers. It's going to be less than 13 now as Chris Sargent puts a strike inside a spare. 2 marks in a row. As he chops into Bart Maderios' lead. Watch this shot again. Right in the 1-3 pocket. We watch it again as he tries for another one right through the middle of the spread eagle. He went down to one knee on that one. thought he had thrown a good ball.
Tough to get any momentum going when you start doing that. Spread eagles after strikes.
Put 6 in the mark. And a 7 box. Ouch. Bart has a couple of 7 boxes in this string, and that's a 7 box for Chris Sargent right there. Unless Bart marks in one of these 2 boxes, this will be about a dead even match.
Same spare he faced just a box ago when he missed it.
That time he doesn't miss it. Nope. Perfectly placed in the 1-2 pocket. And the mark is his first of the string. Watch the ball right in the 1-2 pocket, and the fence collapsed. That one missed the head pin, but he got a pretty good break. 7-pin fall. 7's in the spare. And a spare opportunity here. But he missed the object pin, the head pin. That's a nice 10 box. That's what he wanted to do the previous ball. 7-pin lead for Bart Maderios over Chris Sargent as we're just past the halfway point in the match.
WCBC Rookie of the Year in the 93-94 season. And Bowler of the Year 2000-2001. 10-string record in the WCBC at 1486. Did that at Park Place October 10th of 1999.
That's a 148 average for 10 strings.
It is. Huh. And he was number 4 ranked bowler in last year's WCBC season.
8 box for Chris Sargent.
Last time we saw him was in the doubles competition in '04. He was top seed with Debbie Scannell in mixed doubles, defeating second seed Mike Morgan and Cindy Cawley 349 to 355. So won that tournament. He bowled his 213, which is his high string, in the World Tournament in Bangor in the year 2000.
While we have a second here, I want to say hello to George Angelopoulos and Cy and Gary and all of the crew at George's Men's Shop on Elm Street in Manchester. Mike and I have an opportunity to go in there and get some of our clothes that we wear on our tapings from George's, and they do a great job. A great group of people there. Just a terrific store. And if you've not been in George's Men's Shop in downtown Manchester, you will really enjoy the experience of shopping there.
And you know why? Besides a great selection of clothing and suits and fine men apparel, is the men and women that actually do the measuring and the tailors, they know exactly what they're doing, very experienced, and they make it such a pleasant experience.
It's fun.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm not the biggest shopper for myself. I'm not one that really enjoys it a whole heck of a lot. But going in George's, it's a real great experience. They treat you like a king, and they just really know how to take care of things for you. I was in there last week as we taped the show. It's a week ago that I was there, and I really have fun there. It's a terrific store with a great selection, and just the crew there is just first rate.
And the fact that you're fashion challenged, you know, you'd never know it because they put some good clothes on you. They clean up pretty well.
Chris Sargent working on a mark. Puts 8 in the mark, puts 9 in the mark. Oh, almost put 10 in the mark.
And that will give him the lead in this match now by 2 pins in completed frames.
What a wood player! What a wood player!
And another mark. So the lead shifts from Bart Maderios to Chris Sargent. One of the other things I like about George is, one last note, is when they've got my picture in a real position of prominence. Those guys are the best. They're the best. Another spare for Chris Sargent.
It's telling him to sit down. A little horseplay for the boys.
.128 plus a ball for Chris Sargent. A good ball. It is. Will it go? It will not go. 137. Second string for Chris Sargent, including $50 in bonus money. Now the pressure on Bart Maderios. He needs to mark. Good first ball. The 5 and the 9. The wood rolls off. Oh, he picked the 5 right off the 9. $10. He needed a mark. Missed the head pin. They're still going, though.
A little wood to help him out on the deck. It's the 4-7-9.
The piece of wood in the back is kind of in an in-between situation. I'm not real sure. He's got it. It's a good mark.
Well, that's going to pull him, you know, within 10 pins with a good fill here.
So we have ourselves a horse race. And he puts 7 in the mark. A 105 for Bart Maderios. And it's a 12-pin lead for Chris Sargent over Bart Maderios, headed to string number 3. As we continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua, you're watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Bart Maderios will bowl first in the 3rd string, trailing by 12 pins. And the first ball is off the head pin.
All right, go get it, Bob.
137 second string for Chris Sargent. He turns a 20-pin deficit into a 12-pin lead. Nice 10 box. Boy, he didn't play that conservatively at all, did he?
There is so little room for error on that shot, as you'll see right here, putting it between the 1 and the 4. The ball deflects to the left, takes out the 4, which takes out the 7.
Again, missed the head pin.
Same spot, too. Most of his off head pin hits have been to the right. This time he's been to the left twice.
Nice shot for Bart Maderios. Terrific spare for Bart. Watch it again. He makes the spare nicely. Here's Chris Sargent. Just picks 1. Kevin LaFawn's our director today. Keith Webb is our engineer. Craig Amabello, Larry Haber, Tanya Perry, our camera crew. Will he make the spare? He almost did. Chuck Lothrop's on replay. Rich Burks on audio. Stephen Kenny is on graphics, and Kristen Doobie is handling the timing. Kate Nichols is our scoreboard operator here at Leda Lanes. There's a strike for Chris Sargent. Boom. That one didn't take long, did it?
So we're still 12 pins difference here.
They all go down together. The 9-pin was the last, but not by much. There's Bart with a good first ball. He matches the strike with one of his own.
And a good fill for his second box spare. So now he's got a 10, a spare, and a strike. Let's see what he does in the 4th frame.
Right on the head pin. Oops. And not much to show for it. We have $850 in our triple strike jackpot.
That's right.
$20 in the bonus ball contest at the end of the match. Just a 5 in the strike for Bart. That hurts. And an 8 box. Chris Sargent works on a strike.
Well, he could do some serious damage now against Bart Maderios. We've had a difficult 4th frame. So it's the 6-pin for a spare all by itself, and he converts.
Got an email from Gene Tatro, West Newbury, Massachusetts. Don't know if you recall my wife who attended some of your taping sessions and was able to watch the bowling with the help of binoculars because she was legally blind. As Chris Sargent strikes 3 marks in a row. We'll continue with the email when we come back after the break, as we have 3 marks in a row for Chris Sargent. And Chris Sargent in the lead as we continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua. You are watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Saturday and Sunday at noon is your time to watch WNDS Candlepin Stars and Strikes. For all the bowling action you love, with all your favorite bowlers, and of course, your 2 favorite announcers, Dick Lutz and Mike Warren.
Right in the pocket. Will it go? Yes!
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships, Tri-State Megabucks, and the New Hampshire Lottery. See Candlepin Stars and Strikes Saturday and Sunday at noon, only on WNDS.
Bart Maderios ready to bowl from Leda Lanes in Nashua. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin and our entire crew. We're heading down the home stretch, our semifinal match in this 5th ladder series of the season.
It's a $550 payday for the runner-up today. Our winner will go on for the championship round next week against Shawn Baker. Top prize being $1,500. The runner-up will get $1,000. And the winner, of course, goes on to the Tournament of Champions to join the following bowlers: Jeff Surratt, Dave Hodge, Hugh Ferguson, and Craig Holbrook.
Bart Maderios right on the head pin. I started reading an email from Gene Tatro, West Newbury, Massachusetts. Don't know if you recall my wife who attended some of your taping sessions and was able to watch the bowling with the help of binoculars because she was legally blind. Her health deteriorated quite rapidly during last month, and sorry to say she passed away peacefully January 5th. She continued to bowl with the Golden Age League in Newburyport up until mid-December, and we always watched your shows on Sundays and Saturdays, which I still do. That email from Gene Tatro, West Newbury, Massachusetts. We're sorry for your loss, Gene, and wish you the best in the future, and look forward to seeing you at future tapings of Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Chris Sargent buries another one.
Baby, you're killing me.
Yeah, here comes another one right here. You see it. Chris is left to right. Now we're looking for $850. Here we go. Right on the head pin, and look at this.
Oh, boy. Ouch.
That was right on the head pin.
And what a mess. But he rolls up about close to a 30-pin lead in this game, so he's going to be better than 40 pins ahead of Bart Maderios with 4 boxes to go. One, 9, and 10. Some wood just to the right of the head pin.
Funny how this game goes. Bart had a 20-pin lead after the first string.
Well, I think I said 20's never enough against Chris Sargent. That was an understatement here in hindsight.
Half Worcester for Bart.
Recipient of the President's Cup and the Hall of Fame inductees and ceremonies a couple of years ago. And Mike Sargent, Chris's dad, who is also here today, was at that very same ceremony, Dick, when he received Hall of Fame honors as well.
Got an email here from Gary Damore. Doesn't say where Gary's from, but Gary wants to spend more of our money.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
All right.
Watching the bowling, it seems to me that there's no incentive to win each string. There is for the 3-string total, but not for each game. I know that there are money restraints for the show, but wouldn't it be more exciting for the viewers and more incentive for the bowlers if each string had a money payoff, say $50 or $100 per string? Just a thought from an old-time watcher, Gary Damore.
The answer to that is there would be no more incentive, because $50 or $100 in today's world is not that much, and what really drives these bowlers is to get to the Tournament of Champions. Yeah, 50 or $100 is nice. That would not make a bit of difference in how exciting these matches are to these guys.
Another mark for Chris. I don't want you holding back in your opinions there, Mike. I want you to tell it like it is.
I hope the accountants at our TV station heard that I was coming out on their side. And there's another 3 fill for Chris Sargent on his
probably take $50 out of your pay now because it doesn't make that much difference.
Well, this would be an amazing shot if he can pull this one off.
Almost did.
Well, Bart Maderios needs to pull something out of his hat, like 4 strikes. It's about the only way he's going to win this one, or 3 strikes and a big fill. He's 46 pins behind with 2 frames to go.
Mathematically, yes, but realistically, no.
Come on, go get it, Bart. Let's go.
Pretty much that's going to do it because he can get 50 pins now if he makes this and then 3 strikes.
Not going to make the spare, so that will mathematically end the match.
That will do it.
Come on,
$9 bucks.
Right here. Come on. There you go. Come on. I like Bart.
Bart is at 329 going into this box. $105, which is what he had last string. And that's what he has this string. 105, 3-string total of 338. $337 they have on the board. To 105 it should be. There it is. Correct our scoreboard here. It's a good thing we have Kate to keep you honest there, Michael.
Go on. Go on. Get
They'll be
going.
multitasking here.
That pin rolling down, will it go to the pin? It will just nick it, not enough to knock it over. But Chris will be open in the 9th frame. Chris has $125 in bonus money in this match.
Nice, man. Nice 10, buddy.
Plus another $50 for having the highest string in the match. So $175 in bonus money overall for Chris Sargent. Bart Maderios did not collect any bonus money this match.
Make up your mind here, buddy.
Yeah, Chris Sargent picked up, well, 75 in this game. And he'll go on to hopefully win 1,500 next week.
Oh, you were trying. You were trying for that shot.
That's Bart Maderios.
Third man in the
Chris. An $8 and a 140. 3rd string. No, let's check it at 140 is correct.
Yeah.
We'll get Mike to back up and correct his mistake somewhere
it's
along
140,
the way.
trust
140.
me.
We know it's a 140. It says
We'll
139 there. We'll fix it. It's a 384 for Chris Sargent to 337 for Bart Maderios. We'll come back to talk to our boulders when we return to Leda Lanes for Candlepin Stars and Strikes. For those of you keeping score at home, there is the correct score of the 3rd string. We have trouble with Mike Moran keeping up with all of the pins that get knocked over during the course of a match, so we had to go back and correct it. A 143rd string for Chris Sargent, and a final win total of 384 for Chris Sargent to 337 for Bart Maderios. And Bart Maderios joins us here as we get ready to hand out some prize money. That's $550 consolation prize to Bart Maderios. We'll hand him that. You didn't have any bonus money this week. You had $100 in bonus money last week, so it makes for a total payday of $650 for Bart Maderios. And you're into a buzzsaw, Mr. Sargent.
Well, you know, Chris has been a great bowler for a long, long time, and just the opportunity to bowl next to and against a competitor like that is a thrill for me, and I was happy he bowled so well, and good win for Chris.
You know, I want to tell you, before we came back on the air after the break, Bart was thanking the crowd here in attendance here at Leda Lanes for their support and enthusiasm. Bart usually is on the other side of the camera, rooting all of the bowlers on, and he had an opportunity to be on this side of the camera, and you really appreciated the crowd behind you.
Oh, you know, with that kind of enthusiasm behind you, no matter what happens up here, you still have a great time. I just had a blast today. It's been the thrill of my life, and to have this crowd behind me has been a fantastic. My family's here with me. The kids that I bowl with in our program are with me. It's just been a real delight.
Talk about the program again. We talked last week about the youth program and the kids going to Canada, and last week you had the Rock and Bowl at Pilgrim Lanes. How long have you been involved with that, and how did you first get started with that?
Well, I've been involved in the ICYBA for about 13 years. Tony Marie Baldinelli, she started that back in Leo's Super Bowl in Amesbury. It was Baldinelli's back then. And then she came to Haverhill, and we just hooked up together. Her and I just teamed up for a number of years, and we had a blast. We had a good time, and it just grew there. And when she started with the kids, and I saw the enthusiasm, I'm a workhorse. She was the organizer, and once we put that together, it just grew, and it became easier each year. So right now, it's probably as easy as it can be to take 4 buses, 180 people up to Canada for a 3-day weekend. It's pretty simple because of what took place back 13 years ago.
Now, Mike, you were involved in the youth program here at Leda Lanes way back when your daughter was involved. You can appreciate the type of work that goes into a program like that.
It takes a special person who, first of all, has the patience, the desire, the dedication. And, I mean, you've got that in spades. And I was going to ask you, where do you get this energy from? Because I'm a little older than you, but I mean, you know.
No, we have a great time. We have a great program. It's not just the Bart Maderios show. You know, we've got Mary Ann Kelly, Mary Wall, Beth Richards, and the kids now. The kids. My son Andrew has become a coach, and the kids are now picking up the pieces that we are leaving behind. And so it's a team effort, just a great team effort, and nobody has to do an awful lot of work. So,
and your son as well, Andrew, is getting into coaching. He's only 19, so you're starting him young.
Oh, and he's been just a real asset to the program, particularly this year. You know, just the other day, he was talking to one of the kids and said, "Listen, you know, you want to do some special stuff. You want to come to this taping. You need to do well in school, and I need to talk to your parents to make sure that you're doing well in school before you can come up there to the taping." And school is a bigger part of our program because we use it as a tool to help the kids do well in school, and so that works out. He's picking that up, and I'm thrilled for him.
Bart, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, guys.
Bart Maderios,
Thank you, Bart.
our runner-up here this afternoon. And you'll hear a nice round of applause for Bart. Now we'll do the bonus ball contest with Chris Sargent. Chris knows the drill. We'll draw a card out of the bin, and we'll see if we can give away $20, which is in the bonus ball jackpot. Kenny Conlon of Seabrook wants you to get an 8. Chris, let's see if we can get 8 pins down for Kenny Conlon of Seabrook. We only got 4. We're halfway there. It's a consolation prize for Kenny Conlon of Seabrook, New Hampshire. Come right in here, Mr. Sargent, and congratulations to you. And you fell behind by 20 pins after 1, but came storming back.
Yeah, I started getting some breaks. You know, you got to take advantage of them. Bob bowled, he bowled great. I mean, he just wasn't getting any breaks. So it's tough.
You know, Bart works with a bunch of kids, and you were at the Rock and Bowl at Pilgrim. You've seen the kids bowl. How did you get started? Your dad, of course, is one of the all-time greats in Candlepin bowling. So you started at a young age. How old were you when you first began?
13 years ago, I started bowling. So I was 22.
Wow, what took so long? I mean, usually...
I played hockey. I was all in college playing hockey, so then I took it up late. But what Bart does for the kids is just incredible. The guy is just, he's awesome. He really is.
Well, you come from a very rich bowling heritage. I was talking to your father before we started today. He has so many stories to tell.
Oh, yeah, he's been doing it a long time. So
I love the story he told about when he first joined the late Tony Baldinelli's team at age 19. Can you imagine the typical person would be, somewhat intimidated to be bowling with that caliber of bowler, but your dad just went in and made a name for himself at a very early age.
Yeah, he did. I used to watch him. He was incredible. He was incredible to watch. Like I said, I took it up real late, so yeah. I'm having fun with it.
A lot of people say that you get the same fire or desire that he bowled with.
I don't know about that. It's odd.
It's got to be nice to have him here, though, to watch you and to cheer you on.
It is. It's awesome. It's awesome to have him here.
Well, you had $175 in bonus money, $125 in actual bonus money, $50 for having the high string in the match, and on next week to take on Shawn Baker. We'll look forward to seeing you then.
That'll be a good one.
Chris Sargent, our winner here this afternoon, and up the ladder we go one more time.
Shawn Baker, one of the true great bowlers of our time, and Chris Sargent the same next week.
We'll look forward to seeing you as well. For Mike Morin and our entire crew. From Leda Lanes in Nashua, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes.